Hello and welcome to Smart Insight Traders. My name is Alan, and today we are going to start a new series called the Weekly Roundup, in which I'm going to share with you my analysis of the past week, the trades that we could have taken, the opportunities on which we could have capitalized, and what lies in store for us for the coming week. This is the weekly chart for the Bank Nifty Index. This is the week gone by, which started on the Tuesday, the 21st of May. It was a truncated week. We only had 4 trading days. Let's look at some of the trades that we could have taken in the past week and how things shape up for the coming week. Let's go a time frame lower into the daily time frame. This is where the week started on Tuesday. I'm going to go into the replay mode and show you some of the trades that we could have taken in the past week. We are now in the replay mode, and when the week started, there were two things that I was looking for. One was this weekly fair value gap highlighted in white, and the other was this daily fair value gap highlighted in orange. Our first good trade came on Tuesday itself, where we got a good entry going up from this daily fair value gap to tap into this weekly fair value gap. We got that on a 15 minutes time frame. Let's have a look. We are on the 15 minutes time frame. So we were looking out for a weekly fair value gap that would give us an entry, which came here. I'm going to delete the daily fair value gaps just so that you can see the 15 minutes fair value gap clearly. Here is the 15 minutes fair value gap that was formed between the 10:45 candle and the 11:15 candle. The 11:45 candle tapped into it, and quickly we get to see a good reaction of it, and in the next couple of candles we got our target. This was one good trade that we could have been a part of. Once price tapped into the weekly fair value gap, I was expecting a decent bearish momentum coming into the indices, and that is how things played out for the next couple of days. Let's observe this on a 75 minutes time frame. Here we are on a 75 minutes time frame. This is Tuesday. We'll go a couple of candles forward to see how things play out. There was this good bearish momentum that was set up on Tuesday, which continued on Wednesday, and we get this big move. When this big move came, there were a couple of things that I was looking at. One was the 75 minutes fair value gap that was sitting right here. The 9:15 candle on Wednesday, which is the expiry, closes inside this fair value gap, giving me an indication that this fair value gap might not hold and price might move the next discount array, that is this order block sitting right here. But to get an entry on the lower side, we were also looking for another bearish fair value gap, which we got at the close of the 10:30 candle. Now we had more confirmation with the candle closing inside the fair value gap again, confirming that this fair value gap might not hold. Our next discount array now becomes this order block sitting right here, and we have this 75 minutes bearish fair value gap, which we could have used for our entry, looking on a lower side the target of this order block, which is what we get towards the end, that quick down move that came towards the end on the expiry. Now we can see this candle. This is the 1 p.m. candle on the 75 minutes time frame. It has tapped into this bearish fair value gap, and here we had an entry on the 5 minutes time frame going down into this order block. We are now on the 5 minutes time frame. From here we can see that there is a strong bearish momentum that comes right into this order block here. You can see that in the next few candles price consolidates a bit, and then we see a strong momentum going into that order block. And once price taps into that order block, we also see a very strong bullish momentum going back upwards. So this was a pretty good trade. We got around 150 to 200 points in options on an expiry day, which is exceptional. And this bullish momentum that then came simply continued for the next 2 days. We have seen the rally that we got on Thursday, which continued on Friday. I found it a little bit tough to be a part of that rally because there was a very strong momentum and we hardly got any retracements. But that's okay, that's the nature of the markets. We can look at that on the 75 minutes time frame, see what kind of momentum that was generated once price tapped into this order block here. You can see this strong momentum. There were a lot of breakaway gaps that were formed here. There was a normal fair value gap that was formed here, but price did not retrace into it. There is another breakaway gap that is formed here, and this has just continued. It's been a very strong one way rally with a lot of fair value gaps that have not been tapped into, and currently the market is closed at 48,948. Let's have a look at what we can expect in the coming week. I'm going to go back into the daily chart to point out a few similarities from a couple of weeks gone by. Here we are on the daily chart of the Bank Nifty Index. There are a lot of similarities between what happened here mid and the end of April to what is happening here right now towards the end of May. We had a similar, even if you go to the weekly and you see, we had a very similar weekly bearish fair value gap. Like here, we go into that, we close up into the fair value gap here. We have a small retracement that you will be able to see in the daily chart, and then price just zooms to make a new all-time high and take out this swing point here, the all-time high. Similarly, in this week, we get a bearish fair value gap here. Price comes down here and start creates a strong bullish momentum. Let's have a look at that on the daily time frame. So we can see what happened here is something similar that we are noticing here. What we saw last time was that price moved around 3.5% before making a small retracement into the daily fair value gap and zooming back ahead. Similarly, here if we see price has zoomed another 3.5%, leaving behind this daily fair value gap. Let's highlight that. We could possibly see a retracement into this fair value gap. Remember that there is also a daily order block sitting here, and this could be a good zone for us to get back into our longs and target the all time high with the election results coming up in a week and a half's time. This would make for a very good trade. This is definitely something that you can watch out for. Even if you look at the monthly chart, there is another thing that I observed that I would like to share with you. Price has been retracing 50% of the previous swing and going on its merry way. This is continued from March. We go right up, we retrace 50%, we go back up. Then again in Jan, Feb, we retrace 50% and we go back up. In May, what we see again is that from these lows that we created in Jan, we retraced another 50% and we are going back up again. So the narrative is pretty well built up on the bullish side. We can expect a touch of the all-time high at least. It's difficult to predict how much further it will go, but we can definitely aim for this high. Currently on the daily, for me, this is the draw on liquidity. We have what we can say as a breakaway gap. Even if price in the next couple of days doesn't tap into this fair value gap, after reaching this swing point, I'm pretty sure that we'll get a retracement before we take out the all-time highs and move up ahead. So this is a good area for you to watch out for. Not only this area, also remember that there is an order block sitting right here. This is a pretty good zone to accumulate longs again if price does come here and target the all-time high, that is 49,974. This time I'm sure we are going to hit 50k. We will come back next week and see how things played out. If any of our price projections did make sense. If you would like to see more of such videos, please show your love by liking this video, commenting, sharing, and for midweek analysis and what we can expect further and how it plays out, don't forget to join our WhatsApp group where I'll be sharing my midweek analysis so that you can plan the expiry and the rest of the week accordingly. Till then, take care and trade smart.